The hour for convening having arrived, all members will please take their seats. Mr. Clerk, will you please ring the bell? We're going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers, please close the doors and keep them closed. As is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the lady from the 51st House District, Representative Penich. Representative Penich.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is with great honor and gratitude that I rise and say, Shalom, y'all. Shalom, y'all. Thank you. And introduce the chaplain of the day, Rabbi Darshanit Dr. Miriam Udell. This is the first for an Orthodox Jewish woman, as they were only recently ordained into the rabbinate. Georgia has 2 such women. Miriam is one. And after asking around, this appears to be the very first time a Jewish female rabbi of any denomination has led this house in prayer. Rabbi, also known as Darshanit, Dr. Miriam Udell, is an associate professor of German studies and the Judith London Evans Director of the Tam Institute of Jewish Studies at Emory University, where her teaching focuses on modern Jewish literature and culture, and occasionally rabbinic literature. She holds an A.B. in Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations and a Ph.D. in Comparative Literature, both from Harvard University. She was ordained in 2019 as part of the first cohort of executive ordination track at Yeshivat Macharat in New York, a residency program designed to bring qualified mid-career women into the Orthodox Jewish rabbinate. She uses the rabbinic title Darshanit, which means interpreter of texts, but will cheerfully answer to Rabbi. Rabbi Darshanit Udell is the winner of the 2017 National Jewish Book Award in Modern Jewish Thought and Experience. She is the editor and translator of Honey on the Page, a treasury of Yiddish children's literature, winner of the Judaica Reference Award from the Association of Jewish Libraries. Her translation of Yiddish children's literature has served as the basis for a radio play and a puppet film released by Theater Emory. Recipient of an NEH Public Scholar Grant, Rabbi Udell is completing a book about how children's literature can help us understand the modern Jewish experience. I give to you Rabbi Darshanit, Dr. Miriam Udell.
For the little bit of history that we are making here together today, I would like to thank Representative Panich and Speaker Burns and all who are in attendance, including my husband, Dr. Adam Zachary Newton, and our son, Emmanuel, who has missed PE, which is the most fun part of the first grade morning, and who is generally supportive of his rabbinic mommy, but was disappointed to learn that Chaplain of the Day has nothing to do with Charlie Chaplin. In the same breath, I want to thank the one above, who in the words of our traditional blessing for special occasions, has given us life, sustained us, and brought us to this time. This coming Saturday, Jews the world over will read about how God parted the Red Sea for the Israelites fleeing ancient Egypt. We will chant from the parchment of the Torah scroll a portion of the book of Exodus that stretches from the middle of the 13th chapter, where their roundabout desert itinerary is explained, to the end of the 17th, wherein the people experience crippling thirst and asymmetric warfare. The climax of this Torah portion, and the reason why we refer to this week as Shabbat Shirah, the Sabbath of Song, is Exodus chapter 15, the poetic Song at the Sea, a hymn of thanksgiving with which the Israelites celebrate their safe passage across the dry ground that God has opened for them in the very heart of the fearsome waters. Through this miracle of miracles, over 1 million souls pass from enslavement to liberty, a story that echoes through the ages to our own time, and surely a moment worth singing about. The song's rhetoric soars in any language, but I invite you today to savor the taste of the original Hebrew. Az yashir Moshe uvnei Yisrael et hashira hazot ladonai, vayomru lemor ashira ladonai ki ga'o ga'a, sus v'rochvo rama vayam. Then Moses and the Israelites sang this song to God. They said, I sing to God who has triumphed gloriously, horse and driver hurled into the sea. Ozi v'zimrat ya vayhili lishua, ze eli ve'anvehu, Elohei avi va'aromamenhu. God is my strength and might, and is become my deliverance. This is my God whom I glorify, the God of my ancestor whom I exalt. Lovely, right? Adversity and then triumph. Chick-chock, as they say in modern Hebrew. And now you can all get on with the business of the people of Georgia. Well, not so fast. Because the rabbis, I am here to tell you, are bothered. When I say rabbis, I mean the sages whose discussions are recorded in the Talmud roughly between the 3rd and 7th centuries. And when I say bothered, I mean that they were intrigued and curious about something that they regarded as not quite settled in the biblical text. Here's the problem. At the time of the Exodus, the Israelites have been enslaved for exactly 430 years. God has spoken with their patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and has been revealed to their matriarchs, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. But as the young people say, it's been a minute. God's presence in Egypt has been obscured to all but Moses and his brother Aaron. How can the rest of the Israelites proclaim with such confidence, this is my God? How do they know what their God even looks like. The rabbis feel their way toward an answer in the Talmudic tractate Sota, which offers a set of interpretive stories, or midrashim, about how the Israelites managed to elude Pharaoh's genocidal decree that all baby boys be drowned in the Nile, how they managed to survive until they could thrive. Like so many good things in this world, it came down to the efforts of women. In the merit of the righteous women of that generation, says one rabbi, the Jewish people were redeemed from Egypt. The Talmudic passage goes on to describe how the enslaved women would bring their husbands lunch in the fields and, in an act of sacred seduction, would entice them to enjoy, and I say this with no disrespect to this chamber, a very happy meal. 9 months later, these women would give birth in the fields, beyond the surveillance of their overseers, at which point, having few other choices, given the murderous decree, they would commend their newborn sons to the apple trees of the field for safekeeping, fulfilling to the letter Song of Songs, chapter 8, verse 5, which reads, Tachar hatapuach orarticha, under the apple tree I roused you. It was there that your mother conceived you, there that she who bore you conceived you. According to our Talmudic passage, God would then send an angel to clean the newborns and to gather for each child 2 suckling stones, one flowing with oil and the other with honey, thus fulfilling the word of Deuteronomy 32:13, and he would suckle them with honey from the rock and oil from a flinty rock. In cradle-like pits under the sheltering apple trees, a generation of vulnerable boys were nourished and protected. This story is so powerful and resonant that it was rewritten in the Eastern European Jewish fusion language of Yiddish and published in 1961. The modern version, by Levin Kipnis, goes into rich detail in imagining how this system of nurture operated. You can close your eyes and picture it if you'd like as I read. The apple trees cared for the tiny baby boys, the blades of grass kept them hidden, and bright-eyed angels with clear wings flew down from the heavens, an angel for each and every child. They stroked the children's little heads so that their hair grew very long, soft, and silky, and covered their whole bodies. They gave every child a pebble in each hand, one a milkstone and the other a honeystone. After that, they dug out holes near the roots of the apple tree and padded them with grass. As a mother makes a bed for her child, they laid the children in the holes. As a mother lays her child in the cradle, they sang heartfelt songs. As a mother lulls her child to sleep. The great God, whom the Israelites would hail in their song at the sea as a powerful man of war, acts in concert with the angels and the natural world to care as a mother would for the fragile infants placed under the apple trees. When the children grow up and are freed at last, they recognize the one who met their early needs as the divine author of their liberation. In the words of the Talmudic story, when the Holy Blessed One was revealed at the Red Sea, these children recognized him first. As it is stated, "This is my God, whom I glorify." They recognized God because they had felt God's care during their infancy and could declare with authority, "This is my God." I treasure this midrash, this interpretive story, because it helps us to think about how relationships of care make God visible to us in the world. You are our representatives. It is your duty and your privilege to locate, recognize, and glorify the Most High in the faces of the Georgians that you serve. And so let us pray. May we recognize the light of the divine source in the varied countenances of our fellow human beings. May we dignify the otherness of others while cultivating a deep sense of connection through the humanity that we all share. O God of creation and of deliverance, grant peace, goodness, and blessing, grace, loving kindness, and compassion to us and all your people. Bless us with the light of your countenance, for by this light you have given us living teachings and love of kindness, righteousness, blessing, compassion, life, and peace. May you see fit to bless us always in every hour with your peace. And to this we say, amen.
A great first this morning, a great first. Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. Members, as is our custom, you may join the rabbi in the South Ante room for some photos in just a moment. Chair recognizes Chairman Tarvin, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal of the previous legislative day and found it to be correct. And in addition, we are only destined to become what we decide to be.
Makes a lot of sense, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for that. Chairman Tarvin, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? The chair hears none. The reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? Chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. The clerk, Mr. Clerk, will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Purpose and illustration of the 104th municipality establishes the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 144 by Representative Lewis Ward of the 115th, Ben of the 94th, Renner of the 85th. Bill be titled Act to amend Code Section 29422 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating decisions on wards' well-being.
Juvenile Justice.
House Bill 145 by Representative Lewis Ward of the 115th, Renner of the 85th, Fryer of the 122nd, Wilkerson of the 38th, Schofield of the 63rd. Bill being titled an Act to amend Article 6 of Chapter 3 of Title 44 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to property owners associations.
Judiciary.
House Bill 146 by Representative McCollum of the 30th, Powell of the 33rd, Donahue of the 31st, Wiedauer 121st, and Kelly the 16th. Bill be titled an Act to amend Article 4, Chapter 8 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to water and sewer projects and costs tax.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 147 by Representative Wade of the 9th, Jones of the 47th, Dubnik of the 29th, Irwin of the 32nd, Hitchens of the 161st, and others. Bill be titled an Act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to elementary and secondary education.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 148 by Representative Hughley of the 141st, Carter of the 93rd, Howard of the 129th, Wilkerson of the 38th, Smith of the 41st. Bill being titled an Act to amend Part 9 of Article 6 of Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to grants for educational programs.
Education.
House Bill 149 by Representative Maynard of the 56th, Bentley of the 150th, Jackson of the 128th, Lim of the 198th, Sampson of the 153rd, and others. Bill being titled an Act to amend Part 2 of Article 15 of Chapter 1 of Title 10 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to Fair Businesses Practices Act of 1975.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 150 by Representative Maynard of the 56th, Thomas of the 65th, Lim of the 98th, and Sampson of the 153rd. The bill to be titled an Act to amend Chapter 33, Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to physical therapists.
Health.
House Bill 151 by Representative Reese of the 140th, Mitchell of the 88th, Crawford of the 84th, Hughley of the 141st, Bentley of the 150th, and others. Bill be titled an Act to amend Code Section 4286 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to special license plates.
Motor Vehicles.
House Bill 152 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, and Schofield of the 63rd. Bill be titled an Act to amend Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to education.
Education.
House Bill 153 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd. Bill be titled an Act to amend Chapter 24A, Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to massage therapy practice.
Interstate Cooperation.
House Bill 154 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Schofield of the 63rd, Davis of the 87th. Bill be titled an Act to amend Chapter 10, Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to barbers and cosmetologists.
Regulated Industries.
House Bill 155 by Representative Martin of the 49th, Jaspers of the 11th, Reeves of the 99th. Bill be titled an Act to amend Chapter 1 of Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions of professions and businesses.
Regulated Industries.
House Bill 156 by Representative Hawkins of the 27th, Dubnik of the 29th, Donahue of the 31st, Cox of the 28th, and McCollum of the 30th. Bill be titled an Act to amend an Act providing for districts for the election of the Board of Education of Hall County.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 157 by Representative Evans, the 57th, Green, the 154th, and Olowitz, the 42nd, Stevens, the 164th, Bentley, the 150th. Bill be titled an Act to amend Part 7 of Article 7, Chapter 3, Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to Hope Scholarships and Grants.
Higher Education.
House Bill 158 by Representative Mitchell, the 88th, Roberts, the 52nd, Bennett, the 94th. Bill be titled an Act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 6 of Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions regarding superior courts.
Judiciary,
House Bill 159 by Representative Meeks of the 178th and Deloach of the 167th. Bill be titled an act to amend an act creating a new charter for the city of Jessup.
Intergovernmental Coordination,
House Bill 160 by Representative Green of the 154th, Sampson of the 153rd, Garrett of the 152nd, and Chokus of the 151st. Bill be titled an act to provide for creation of one or more community improvement districts in the city of Albany.
Intergovernmental Coordination,
House Bill 161 by Representative Iowa, the 50th, Oliver of the 82nd, Gilliard of the 162nd, Neal of the 79th, Holcomb of the 81st, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Part 3 of Article 4, Chapter 11, Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to carrying and possession of firearms.
Public Safety and Homeland Security,
House Bill 162 by Representative McDonald, the 26th, Blackman of the 146th, Gilliard of the 162nd, Meeks of the 178th, and Baird of the 24th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 7 and Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to income taxes.
Ways and
House
Means,
Bill 163 by Representative McDonald, the 26th, Collins the 71st, Gilliard of the 162nd, Powell of the 33rd, Baird of the 24th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 10 and Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the Georgia Board of Health Care Workforce. That last one was 163.
Higher Education,
House Bill 164 by Representative Smith of the 18th to be entitled an act to amend an act to provide a new charter for the city of Mount Zion.
Intergovernmental Coordination,
House Bill 165 by Representative New of the 64th, Rhodes of the 124th, Ridley of the 6th, Smith of the 70th, Hagan of the 156th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 50, 18, 72 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to when public disclosures are not required. Natural Resources and Environment.
Natural Resources and Environment,
House Bill 166 by Representative Mathiak, the 74th, Knight of the 134th, Camp of the 135th, Daniel of the 117th, Gunner of the 8th. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 6 of Chapter 10 and Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to constables, clerks, and other court personnel.
Judiciary Non-Civil,
House Bill 167 by Representative Momtahan of the 17th, Corbett of the 174th, Guttle of the 19th, Gunner of the 8th, Knight of the 134th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 4564 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to limiting driving permits for certain offenders.
Motor Vehicles,
House Bill 168 by Representative Ridley, the 6th, Carpenter of the 4th, Barton of the 5th, Dubnik of the 29th, Tarvin of the 2nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 7 and Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to imposition rate computation exemptions and credits for state income tax.
Ways and Means,
House Bill 169 by Representative Collins, the 71st, Smith of the 18th, Smith of the 70th, and Huddleston of the 72nd. Bill be titled an act to amend an act providing for the compensation and expenses of the chairperson and members of the Board of Education of Carroll County.
Intergovernmental Coordination,
House Bill 170 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, Blackman of the 146th, Williamson of the 112th, Gullett of the 19th, Smith of the 138th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to sales and use taxes.
Ways and
House
Means,
Bill 171 by Representative Kennard of the 101st, Miller of the 62nd, Roberts of the 52nd, Neal of the 79th, Bentley of the 150th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 35, 3, 37 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to review of individuals' criminal history record information.
Judiciary Non-Civil,
House Bill 172 by Representative Maynard of the 56th, Jones of the 25th, Houston of the 170th, Lim of the 98th, and Thomas of the 65th. Bill be titled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 6 of Chapter 3, Title 37 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions relative to the rights and privileges of patients and their representatives.
Juvenile Justice.
House Bill 173 by Representative Kidder, the 101st, Carter, the 93rd, Clark of the 108th, Evans of the 89th, Roman of the 97th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to elementary and secondary education.
Education.
House Bill 174 by Representative Bentley, the 150th, Green, and the 154th, Schofield, the 63rd, Williams, the 148th, Houston, and the 170th. A bill to be titled Act to amend Part 3 of Article 16 of Chapter 2, Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to student health in elementary and secondary education.
Education.
House Bill 175 by Representative Daniels, the 117th, Mathiak, the 74th, Crowell, the 118th, Jaspers, the 11th, Corbett, the 174th. Bill be titled Act to amend Code Section 40.1.8 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to safe operations of motor carriers.
Motor vehicles.
House Bill 176 by Representative Gunner of the 8th, Smith of the 18th, Leverett of the 123rd, Burchetta of the 176th, Reeves of the 99th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 14 to Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions regarding court reporters.
Judiciary.
House Bill 177 by Representative Clark of the 108th, Howell of the 50th, Carpenter of the 4th, Barnes of the 86th, Holcomb of the 81st. Bill be titled Act to amend Part 2 of Article 6 of Chapter 2, Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to competencies in court curriculum under the Quality Basic Education Act.
Education.
House Bill 178 by Representative Hutchinson of the 106th, Scott of the 76th, Willis of the 55th, State of the 53rd, Glaze of the 67th, and others. Bill to be titled an act to amend Chapter 4 of Title 1 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to holidays and observances.
Special rules.
House Bill 179 by Representative Hutchinson, the 106th, Kennard of the 101st, Cannon of the 58th, Evans of the 89th, Mitchell of the 88th, and others. Bill being entitled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 4, Title 42 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to conditions of detention.
Public safety and homeland security.
House Bill 180 by Representative Martinez of the 111th, Hilton of the 48th, Townsend of the 179th, Huddleston of the 72nd, Marin of the 96th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to sales and use taxes.
Ways and
House
means.
Bill 181 by Representative Townsend of the 179th, Stevens of the 164th, Cooper of the 45th, Hawkins of the 27th, Hutchinson of the 106th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 13 and Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to controlled substances.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Resolution 68 by Representative Maynard, the 56th, Lemon, the 98th, Sampson, the 153rd, Thomas, the 65th, and Michael, the 105th. A resolution encouraging the Department of Education to dedicate personnel, funds, and other resources.
Education.
House Resolution 69 by Representative Green, the 154th, Jackson, the 128th, Jones, the 47th, Mathiak, the 74th, Yurda, the 152nd. A resolution honoring the life of Mr. John E. Brown and dedicating a bridge in his memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 71 by Representative Evans, the 57th, Holland, the 54th, Lupton of the 83rd, and Silcox, the 53rd. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on front of vehicle license plates.
Motor vehicles.
House Resolution 72 by Representative Evans, the 52nd, Holland, the 54th, Draper, the 90th, Willis, the 55th, Schofield, the 63rd. A resolution creating a House Study Committee on excessive vehicle noise and related crimes.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Resolution 95 by Representatives Cooper, the 45th, Hawkins, the 27th, Hutchinson, the 106th, Silcox, the 53rd, Fleming, of the 114th. A resolution designating Hypertrophic Cardiomyopathy Awareness Day.
Public and community health.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. Paul, let's suspend, Mr. Clerk. Members, if you would tone it down just a bit. Just a bit. Thank you. Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 93 by Representative Campbell of the 171st, a bill to enact providing a Board of Commissioners of Mitchell County. House Bill 94 by Representative Campbell of the 171st, a bill to amend an act to provide for the creation of the Office of County Commissioner of Mitchell County. House Bill 95 by Representative Knight of the 134th, Blackman of the 146th, Martin of the 49th, Newton of the 127th, Stevens of the 164th. A bill relating to revenue and taxation. House Bill 96 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, Newton of the 127th, Williamson of the 112th, Blackman of the 146th, Crow of the 118th. A bill relating to general provisions regarding revenue and taxation. House Bill 97 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, Newton of the 127th, Williams of the 112th, Crow of the 118th, Blackman of the 146th. A bill relating to general provisions regarding revenue and taxation. House Bill 98 by Representative Knight of the 134th, Crow of the 118th, Blackman of the 146th, Martin of the 49th, Newton of the 127th. A bill relating to ad valorem taxation of property. House Bill 99 by Representative Knight of the 134th, Crow of the 118th, Blackman of the 146th, Martin of the 49th, Newton of the 127th. A bill relating to alternative ad valorem tax on motor vehicles. House Bill 100 by Representative Williamson of the 112th, Stevens of the 164th, Newton of the 127th, Martin of the 49th, Blackman of the 146th. A bill relating to income taxes. House Bill 101 by Representative Williamson of the 112th, Stevens of the 164th, Newton of the 127th, Martin of the 49th, Blackman of the 146th. A bill relating to income taxes. House Bill 102 by Representative Martin of the 49th, Newton of the 127th, Stevens of the 164th, Williamson of the 112th, Blackman of the 146th, and others. A bill relating to sales and use taxes. House Bill 103 by Representative Martin of the 49th, Newton of the 127th, Stevens of the 164th, Crow of the 118th, Blackman of the 146th. A bill relating to sales and use tax. House Bill 104 by Representative Martin of the 49th, Newton of the 127th, Stevens of the 164th, Crow of the 118th, Blackman of the 146th. A bill relating to excise tax on rooms, lodgings, and accommodations. House Bill 105 by Representative Martin of the 49th, Newton of the 127th, Stevens of the 164th, Crow of the 118th, Blackman of the 146th. A bill relating to excise tax on rooms, lodgings, and accommodations. House Bill 106 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Schofield of the 63rd, Davis of the 87th. A bill to amend the Uniform Civil Forfeiture Procedure Act. House Bill 107 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd. A bill relating to law enforcement officers and agencies. House Bill 108 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd. A bill relating to fair housing. House Bill 109 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd. A bill to amend the Uniform Civil Forfeiture Procedure Act. House Bill 110 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd. A bill to amend the Uniform Civil Forfeiture Procedure Act. House Bill 111 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Beverly of the 143rd, Davis of the 87th, Carter of the 93rd. A bill relating to finance under the Quality Basic Education Act. House Bill 112 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd. A bill relating to law enforcement officers and agencies. House Bill 113 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd. A bill relating to employment and training of peace officers. House Bill 114 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd. A bill relating to employment and training of peace officers. House Bill 115 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd. A bill relating to law enforcement officers, agencies, and state tort claims. House Bill 116 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Schofield of the 63rd, and Davis of the 87th. A bill relating to holidays and observances. House Bill 117 by Representative Scoggins of the 14th and Gamble of the 15th. A bill to amend an act providing for the Board of Education of Bartow County. House Bill 118 by Representative Scoggins of the 14th and Gamble of the 15th. A bill to amend an act to provide a homestead exemption from certain Bartow County School District ad valorem taxes. House Bill 119 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, Mathis of the 149th, Smith of the 138th, Widower of the 121st, and Powell of the 33rd. A bill relating to general provisions relative to the uniform rules of the road. House Bill 120 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, Mathis of the 149th, Smith of the 138th, Widower of the 121st, and Powell of the 33rd. A bill relating to limited driver's permits for certain offenders. House Bill 121 by Representative Anderson of the 10th, Powell of the 33rd, McDonald of the 26th, Gunter of the 8th, Yurta of the 152nd, and others. A bill relating to registration, operation, and sale of watercraft. House Bill 122 by Representative Hawkins of the 27th, Newton of the 127th, Hatchett of the 155th, Lott of the 131st, Bennett of the 94th. A bill relating to higher education savings plan and Georgia achieving a better life experience. House Bill 123 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, Howe of the 50th, Buckner of the 137th, and Schofield of the 63rd. A bill relating to sales and use taxes. House Bill 124 by Representative Bruce of the 61st, Basemore of the 69th, Neguse of the 68th, Thomas of the 65th, Glaze of the 67th, and others. A bill relating to emergency medical services. House Bill 125 by Representative Smith of the 138th and Smith of the 139th. A bill to authorize the assessment and collection of technology fee by the probate court of Harris County. House Bill 126 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Gunter of the 8th, Evans of the 57th, Reeves of the 99th, Panish of the 51st. A bill relating to appellate practice. House Bill 127 by Representative Maynor of the 56th, Lim of the 98th, and Mitchell of the 88th. A bill relating to educational practice programs under the Quality Basic Education Act. House Bill 128 by Representative Hong of the 103rd, Sains of the 180th, Bonner of the 73rd, Martinez of the 111th, Williams of the 168th and others, a bill relating to taxation, revenue and taxation and state government. House Bill 129 by Representative Hong of the 103rd, Cooper of the 45th, Hawkins of the 27th, Taylor of the 173rd, Petrie of the 166th and others, a bill relating to public assistance. House Bill 130 by Representative Gamble of the 15th, Collins of the 71st, Hitchens of the 161st, Werkheiser of the 157th, Lumsden of the 12th and others, a bill relating to the Georgia Student Finance Authority. House Bill 131 by Representative Carter of the 4th, Carpenter of the 4th, Washburn of the 144th, Werkheiser of the 157th, Houston of the 170th, Tran of the 80th and others, a bill relating to education. House Bill 132 by Representative Jenkins of the 136th, Burkle of the 169th, Knight of the 134th, Huddleston of the 72nd, Camp of the 135th, a bill relating to amendment and revision of codes. House Bill 133 by Representative Marin of the 96th, Park of the 107th, Tran of the 80th, Owl of the 50th, Hong of the 103rd and others, a bill relating to holidays and observances. House Bill 134 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th and Tarvin of the 2nd, a bill to amend an act consolidating, amending, codifying the various acts incorporating the city of Dalton. House Bill 135 by Representative Oliver of the 82nd, Owl of the 50th, Evans of the 89th, Draper of the 90th, Roman of the 97th and others, a bill relating to carrying and possession of firearms. House Bill 136 by Representative Petrie of the 166th, Saines of the 180th, Hitchens of the 161st, Collins of the 71st, Martinez of the 111th and others, a bill relating to penal institutions. House Bill 137 by Representative Crowe of the 118th, Collins of the 71st, Mathis of the 149th, McCollum of the 30th, a bill relating to procedure for sentencing and imposition of punishment and Board of Department of Corrections. House Bill 138 by Representative Crowe of the 118th, a bill relating to definitions for property tax exemptions. House Bill 139 by Representative Crowe of the 118th, McCollum of the 30th, Mathis of the 149th, Barrett of the 24th, a bill relating to discovery and criminal procedure. House Bill 140 by Representative Hawkins of the 27th, Newton of the 127th, Cooper of the 45th, Bennett of the 94th, Dempsey of the 13th, a bill relating to state employees' health insurance plan. House Bill 141 by Representative Maynard of the 56th, a bill relating to student health in elementary and secondary education. House Bill 142 by Representative Maynard of the 56th, Collins of the 71st, Jackson of the 128th, Lumsden of the 12th, Crowe of the 118th and others, a bill relating to campus policemen. House Bill 143 by Representative Mathis of the 149th, a bill relating to medical assistance. House Resolution 55 by Representative Buckner of the 137th and Hughley of the 141st, a resolution compensating Mr. Terry L. Talley. House Resolution 56 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd, resolution recognizing gun violence as a major public health problem. House Resolution 65 by Representative Maynard of the 56th, Lim of the 98th, Jackson of the 128th, Sampson of the 153rd, Mitchell of the 88th, a resolution creating the House Study Committee on the State Digitization Act. House Resolution 66 by Representative Gamble of the 15th, Blackman of the 146th, Hong of the 103rd, McDonald of the 26th, Wade of the 9th and others, a resolution ratifying Governor Brian P. Kemp's executive orders suspending the collection of motor fuel and diesel fuel taxes. House Resolution 67 by Representative Maynard of the 56th, Lim of the 98th, Jackson of the 128th, Sampson of the 153rd, Mitchell of the 88th. Resolution recognizing and supporting the commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout the great state of Georgia. House Resolution 70 by Representative Houston of the 170th, a resolution compensating Mr. Devonia Inman. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Representative Matt Hatchett of the 155th District, Chairman of the Committee on Appropriations, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Appropriations had under consideration the following bill of the House. It instructed me to report the same back to the House. The following recommendations. House Bill 18 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Matt Hatchett of the 155th District, Chairman. Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman of the Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Locals, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Locals had under consideration the following bills of the House. Instructed me to report the same back to the House. The following recommendation. House Bill 57 do pass. House Bill 58 do pass. House Bill 59 do pass. House Bill 60 do pass. House Bill 61 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman. Representative Gunner of the 8th District, Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary is under consideration the following bill of the House. It's instructed me to report same back to the House. The following recommendations. House Bill 77 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Gunner of the 8th District, Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
I will have a quiz for several of you on the reading of the reports on the standing committees that the clerk just read. I won't call your names now, but I'll call you into my office shortly, as soon as we adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Third reading of and passage of uncontested local bills. If there are no objections, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none, it is so ordered. The clerk will read the local calendar.
House Bill 57 by Representative Anderson to the 10th, Town of Tallulah Falls. House Bill 58 by Representative Anderson to the 10th, City of Sky Valley. House Bill 59 by Representative Anderson to the 10th, Rabun County. House Bill 60 by Representative Anderson to the 10th, City of Clayton. House Bill 61 by Representative Anderson to the 10th, City of Dillard.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bills on the local calendar will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of the bills on the local calendar, the ayes are 166 and the nays are 0. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. We'll move on to morning orders. First, we'll recognize Chairman Prince to introduce our Doctor of the Day.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Doctor of the Day is Dr. Sharad Gamande from Augusta University in Augusta, Georgia. Dr. Gamande is a world-renowned gynecological oncologist. He's also served as associate professor, associate of the Cancer Center Director for Clinical Research. Dr. Gamande has served in the Augusta area for over 16 years. His specialty is dealing with trials, clinics, as well as reaching out to all to make sure the research is done and is efficient. I think he may be in the gallery. If he is, would you please stand? Mr. Speaker, I don't see him. Maybe he's over in the Senate, but please go by and see Dr. Gamande down in the aid station. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Prince. I spoke with Dr. Gamande this morning. He's doing a wonderful job for us over at Augusta University, the Medical College of Georgia. We appreciate that work he's doing there and appreciate him being here today to be our Doctor of the Day and taking care of us. Representative Derek McCullum for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning.
He'll be joined by Representative Seabaugh as well.
Good morning. I come before you today. I've been working on a new program with the help of our great speaker, Georgia Emergency Medical Services Association and Great EMS. As you may or may not know, I'm a retired firefighter EMT, and when you're part of an organization such as the Fire Service and the Marines, they become your family. And as the Speaker Burns tells us, everyone here is family. Even though we may not always agree, we still care for each other. Now everyone under the Gold Dome is considered my family now. Starting today, we will start a new paramedic EMT program in conjunction with Grady EMS. The paramedics and EMT that we have here will be here from 7:30 to 5 in the morning, and they'll be here longer if need be during session. These men and women are capable of immediate response with a total advanced life support. Stryker has donated a Lucas device, which hopefully we never need it. We'll give CPR. They have all the first-round cardiac meds, and they have a cardiac monitor. Hopefully we never need it, but if we do, they'll be right here on site. They'll be covering the Capitol, CLOB, and the other facilities around. I want to thank Georgia Emergency Medical Service Association, Grady EMS, GBA for working with us to get this done, and of course Speaker Burns, Chairman Hatchett, and Chairman Tillery in the Senate. As you all know, he lost someone that was close to him last year. Our Georgia Emergency Medical Service Association chair and one of the EMTs is up in the audience. If you give them a hand, this is what they're going to look like. So that's how they're going to be dressed. If you need help, obviously they'll be in contact with the State Patrol, and then also they'll be in direct contact with Grady. So if something happens, they'll be able to radio Grady, guide them in, but they'll be here already providing service. So thank you, and I really appreciate this. It was a lot of work, and thanks again to the Speaker's office, and this is going to be great for our family. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. And Representative Sharper, we also thank you for your service to your community in this space, and thank you for being here. Look, y'all know as well as I do that at certain times in our lives, and certainly here with everything goes on, we need a helping hand. To our medical professionals that come in and serve as doctor today and now with this great new service, I feel really good and very grateful and thankful for those who rush to our aid when we need them. So for these special people, we give them thanks. I hope none of us need these services, but when we do, they will be here for us. And this is a bipartisan effort. We're even working with the Senate, and we'll even let them help the press corps when that needs. So we'll let them give service to all those who serve under this Gold Dome. Chair now recognizes Chairman Dickey for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm going to have our retired county agents, Chairman Jasper's join me here, and all of you got one of these cards on your desk, but all of you also have county agents in each and every one of your counties, and they are a great resource to all of us, whether you're farmers or homeowners or consumers. And I just want to say a shout out to our great corporate extension program that we have in our state. I think we maybe have some county agents in the gallery. If they are, I'd like to have them stand. But maybe they've been around the Capitol today, and Laura Perry Johnson, Extension Director, does a great job with our county extension program throughout Georgia. So if you see them, they're a great resource to you, for you and your constituents, and just thank them for what they do. It's a great program, and thank you for your support in the budget for our extension and research and teaching programs at UGA. Anything you want to say? I'm good. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Great group you just recognized. Thank you. Chair now recognizes Chairman Collins for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I won't take but just a moment. I want to recognize a group of young men and women from my district Ithaca Elementary School is here today with us at the state capitol. Young people, if you please rise, let us welcome you to the People's House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Chairman, is there someone special to you in that group? Would you mind introducing?
Well, I refer to her as Little Bird, but Janie Jo Collins, my pride and joy, is right up there.
Welcome, Janie Jo. Representative Chokus, Chairman Chokus is recognized for a morning order. He will be joined by Representative Bentley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, good morning, everyone. It is indeed my pleasure and honor to recognize the AP Government and Student Council from Sly County High School. Y'all stand up. They're in the gallery. They're accompanied by Gabe Tice and William Rooks. Stand up. Let's applaud and welcome them to the People's House. And I want to take this opportunity to brag a little bit about the Sly County school system. There's 180 school systems in the state of Georgia, public school systems. Sly County is ranked number 6. It is the only one in the top 10 that's not in a metro area. So y'all keep up the good work, young people. Thank you.
It's great to have Sly County here. That's awesome. Traveled a long ways. Thank y'all for being here at your capital. Thank you, Chairman Chokus. Chair now recognizes Chairman Williams and Chairman Blackman for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chairman Blackman and I would like to welcome to the People's House the credit unions. They've been here yesterday and today, and we would just like to welcome you to the People's House. Thank you for being here. Please stand.
Great group, Mr. Chairman. I saw them this morning. They have a great group here, and we appreciate them being here as well. Chairman Hatchett, you have a morning order? I thought you're getting warmed up. Is that what you're going to do? Chair recognizes Chairman Hatchett for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thanks for letting me make this semi-announcement during the morning order, just to make sure you all know that your tracking sheet and HB 18, the bill that is FY23 amended budget, is on your desk, and it was put there shortly after 10 o'clock or shortly after the Rules Chairman put it on the calendar. I will be around all day, as are the subcommittee chairmen and chairwomen on the Appropriations Committee, to answer questions. Also, the House Budget and Research Office staff is around. They will be on the floor in the morning to answer any questions that you may have. Just want to make sure everybody knew that, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow on Groundhog Day.
Hope you don't bring a lot of water bottles, anything like the former chairman did, and try to empty them all before you finish your presentation. We're going to take this time off your presentation for tomorrow. I just wanted to mention that. So you're on a schedule. A couple of recognitions, members. Some folks are here visiting with us today. Former members, we have former Chairman Tom Taylor right over here. Good to have you, Chairman. And I'm sure he was here. Is Tom still here? Tom Bardeau? He left. We had a former member from the great state of Chatham at that time. Representative Chairman Tom Bardeau was here with us earlier this afternoon. Good member, good man. We also have a representative-elect here with us. Representative-elect Chaz Cannon. Glad to have you. He won yesterday. Now, if we have your attention for sure now for a minute, we have a special special resolution that we'll have the clerk to read House Resolution 44, Mr. Clerk, and then we'll invite Mr. Clerk, if you'll suspend just for a second. I want to go ahead and make sure we get the right folks up here. We have Chairman Knight, Representative Nulowitz, Jones, Williamson, and Prince will join us along with our special guest. Mr. Clerk.
House Resolution 44 by Representative Knight of the 134th and Nulowitz of the 42nd, Jones of the 47th, Williamson of the 112th, and Prince of the 132nd. A resolution recognizing the 49th anniversary of the Consulate General of Japan in Atlanta and for other purposes.
Chairman Knight and your guest.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is indeed an honor today to recognize the 49th anniversary of the Japanese Consulate General in Atlanta. I've had the privilege over the last couple of years of serving as the chair in the House, and I want to make sure I thank Representative Nulowitz, who's the co-chair also of the Georgia-Japan House Caucus. But it is so important, I can't tell you, not only for our country, the strong ally and relationship that we have with Japan, but also for Georgia. For 49 years, Japan has had a relationship with Georgia. Many of you have sister cities, and as you know, our reputation of the best place to do business, I can tell you that strong partnerships like those for our Japanese companies that come in here and are great partners in Georgia, many of you have these Japanese companies that are actually in your district, and they employ our Georgia citizens. So I can't stress enough how proud and how honored I am to recognize the relationship and the partnership. And with that, I want to introduce the Consulate General, Japan's Consulate General Maeda, to say a few words. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Speaker Burns. And it is a great honor for me to have this privilege to speaking to this House of the Representatives today. First, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to Georgia-Japan House Caucus co-chairs, Chairman David Knight, and Representative Terry Anurbitz, as well as co-sponsors Speaker Pro Tem Ian Jones, Representative Bruce Williamson, and Representative Brian Prince, along with those who supported sponsored the resolution, and all other members of the Georgia House of Representatives. 3 weeks ago, Prime Minister Kishida and President Biden reaffirmed at Washington, D.C. that our cooperation today is unprecedented, rooted in our shared value, shared vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific and a peaceful and prosperous world, guided by the shared vision of shared values, including the rule of law. This relationship is also a strategic partnership that is critical in this rapidly changing world. And I'm glad to say that the relationship between Japan and Georgia is also unprecedented, with a long history of friendship. In 1973, the state of Georgia established its trade office in Japan, and 2 Japanese prominent companies started their operations in this peach state. 1 year later, the government of Japan decided to establish the Consulate General of Japan here in Atlanta. Today, more than 600 Japanese affiliated offices and companies are active in this state and employ more than 40,000 Georgians. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude and thanks to the people of Georgia for their strong and continued support to their activities. But our relations is not limited to these economic areas. Many Georgians are studying Japanese, and others have been involved in Japanese cultural activities. And Japan Fest, the largest Japanese festival in the Southeast, was held last September in person for the first time in 3 years and attracted more than 18,000 people. I'd like to touch upon one memorable event which was also held last September. That is the completion of the Peace Bell Tower at the Carter Center. Look at that screen. The bell itself was originally molded for the temple in Hiroshima in 1820. But after the twists and the turns, it was donated to President and Mrs. Carter in 1980s. The bell itself had remained unhanged for decades at the Carter Center, but the combined effort of Japanese and Americans led to the construction of this bell tower in traditional Japanese style. And I'm glad to say that now we can strike this historic bell once again, and we can enjoy the solemn sound of it. And this is the perfect example of the strong ties between Japan and Georgia. So, honorable representatives, I'd like to reiterate that the relationship between Japan and Georgia is unprecedented. But I strongly believe that we still have a lot of rooms to explore more. So, as the Consul General of Japan in Atlanta, I'm commit myself to continue working hard to this end. And I'm looking forward to working closely with you for the mutually prosperous future. Thank you very much for your attention, your friendship, and hospitality. Thank you very much. Oh, yes. I'll present you also the resolution. We'll move over this way. We're all trying to crowd in.
Mr. Consul General, we're so very pleased that you were here with us today. Thank you for being with Georgia. The great partnership that this country, and especially Georgia, enjoys with your country is something we continue to build on. And we appreciate your interest in being with us. We look forward to continuing this great partnership between two great countries, and the brightest days are in front of us. And this House will continue to be a great partner working with you and Governor Kemp to ensure that future remains bright. Thank you so much. Members, if you would like to have a photo with the Consul General, they'll be in the South Ante room, so you can join them there. Moving right along, we'll move into afternoon orders. Our first afternoon order is Representative David Sampson. Representative Sampson. Here he comes. Good afternoon. Good to see you today. You have the well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Good morning, colleagues, and good morning to everyone in this great chamber. I stand before you today as a representative from Dougherty County, the city, the good life city, which people call Albany, Georgia. Albany. I rise on this first day of February, the first day of Black History Month, to tell you about one of the most influential people in the history of this great state. His name is Maynard Holbrook Jackson, Jr. Maynard was born in 1938 in Dallas, Texas. And from that time, later on, he moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where he attended David Howard High School. During that time, Maynard was an instrument, a great instrument as far as people are concerned, because he was a kid that graduated from high school at the age of 14. He graduated from high school, I say that again, at the age of 14. He graduated from a school that saw the likes of Eldrin Bell, former police chief of the city of Atlanta, Walt Clyde Frazier, professional basketball player, Vernon Jordan, Herman Russell, and our own Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. While attending David H. Howard High School, Maynard Jackson became an outstanding student, and upon graduation moved and went to Morehouse College, where he graduated Morehouse College at the age of 18. Went on to attend Boston University and then North Carolina Central University, the School of Law. In 1973, at the age of 35, Maynard Jackson became the first black mayor of the city of Atlanta, where he served 3 terms. During that time, Jackson's most notable accomplishment was this: improving the opportunities of African Americans in the business sector in the city of Atlanta, especially in the expansion of the Hartsfield Airport. The project that many people said, many critics said he couldn't do, but under his leadership, not only was the project completed, it was completed before time and it was completed under budget. Today, the busiest airport in the world bears his name, Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Maynard Jackson was a beloved son of this city. He was a beacon of hope, a lightning rod for change. My prayer is, through this great house, we can be the same. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Sampson, I apologize. I was up here playing with some buttons. I didn't realize they all worked, but I'm learning. Recognized for an afternoon order, Chairman Parsons.
Thank you, Speaker Burns. I was listening yesterday morning to the privilege resolutions, and I heard a name on there that I recognized. Heard one honoring the life of Zipporah Roberts. And I knew Zipporah Roberts. I knew her between about 33 years ago and about 43 years ago, and probably in a different perspective than a lot of people. And I need to recognize and maybe apologize to Representative Viola Davis. She's the one, I believe, who put that resolution in, and I didn't get a chance to actually look that up until this morning because of different things that were happening. But Representative Davis, I think, put in the resolution honoring Zipporah's life. I knew Zipporah during that time many years ago when we both served in the same military unit. I think I came to know her when she was a PFC E3. I was a Buck Sergeant E5, I think it was, in the 335th Signal Brigade back in those days. And we designed circuits and helped other military organizations implement their signal requirements. I eventually got promoted up, and she did too. I eventually became the first sergeant of the headquarters platoon, or unit rather. They're in that unit, and first sergeant of the headquarters company, excuse me. And she became my clerk, and we worked together very closely for a number of years, including Operation Bright Star, which was one of the first big operations in the Middle East, or what the military terms Southwest Asia, over in Egypt back in 1987. We worked with different countries, different services, and working together and trying to make sure we had a plan for Southwest Asia. And that's what Southwest Asia, to the military, takes in a lot of what we normally call the Middle East. But we worked together, and I don't think that we ever talked about politics. We talked about music a lot, talked about people in the unit, people in general, television shows, things like that. But she was a very hard worker and a good friend, and we both moved on. I eventually moved to another unit, eventually got 20 years in. I moved on from that. Didn't see Zipporah for a long time. And then I guess about, I would say 12 years, maybe 10 years ago, something like that, educators had something here at the Capitol, and somebody called me out to the ropes out there. And I went out, and there was Zipporah, and she had been elected as a member of the DeKalb County Board of Education. So we had a nice little conversation about how it was that we'd worked together, never talked about politics, never talked about running for office or anything like that. And there we were, both serving our community in some respect or another. And she was a great lady. She was a very dedicated person. She was a warrior. I just was reading this morning, she actually passed away having driven to a facility for dialysis, driven there, and I think she actually passed away in the parking lot trying to get in for for her dialysis. But that's how dedicated she was. So I just came up here. I felt a calling to come up. She was my friend from a long time ago, and just happened to hear her name in a privilege resolution. And I know a lot of people here, probably especially from DeKalb County, knew Zipporah, but I knew her as a friend. I knew her as somebody we didn't talk politics together about. We just talked about those general things. But she did a tremendous amount of work for her community. I know she was involved in the NAACP and different things in her community, but a real warrior. So just came up here to honor the memory, from my perspective, of Zipporah Roberts from DeKalb County. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just goes to prove it's a small world, isn't it? There's no doubt about that. And thank you for your remembrance of sounds like a wonderful lady and a dear friend of yours. Chair now recognizes Chairman LaHood for an afternoon order. And the Lowndes County delegation.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good afternoon, colleagues, or late morning, colleagues. The Lowndes County delegation and I are up here to invite you to the Valdosta Lowndes County Bird Supper tonight at the Depot at 5 o'clock. Al Williams knows how good it is. And so we'd love to see every one of you there to enjoy some delicious fried quail, all the fixings, and some good old South Georgia hospitality. So see you there. Thank you.
One of the best nights up here, no doubt about that. Thanks to Lowndes County, and welcome to all of y'all's folks. Chair now recognizes Representative Holly for an afternoon order. Representative Holly. It looks like he's got Representative Panich with him. Great support there.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Speaker Burns. And yes, I'm honored to be here with fellow Representative Esther Panich. Today, we recognize the 4th Annual Jewish Genetic Screening Awareness Week, originally proclaimed by our former Representative, my North Springs High School buddy, Mike Walensky. This week serves to create an awareness around the importance and accessibility of comprehensive genetic screening and counseling, not only for those with Jewish background, but for anyone planning to have children or concerned about their own hereditary cancer risk. Knowing one's genetic risks can be a powerful tool in the prevention of genetic diseases and cancer. The ability to make proactive decisions to avoid passing on devastating genetic diseases to future children or to save one's own life is remarkable. Resources such as JScreen are making testing more accessible, ensuring that no matter your race, your religion, or your background, that everyone has the information they need to take action, to take control, and to get screened. And so that's why we're here, and we're very humbled to be involved in this honorable work to keep our local families and communities healthy. We thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Chair now recognizes Representative Byrd, Donahue, and Horner for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Recently, I participated in a March for Life, and a prayer was offered. It was not in the spirit of the march. We had no knowledge of the prayer. We do not condone the prayer. Prayer is for lifting up, never tearing down. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. We now have a special treat. Representative Bazemore will bring us an afternoon order along with a video. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Representative Bazemore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I want to invite those that have been in the fight for human trafficking to come up and join me. Speaker Pro Tem. So, good morning, colleagues. Some of you may remember that I have been working with the First Lady, Marty Kemp, for about 3 years now on human trafficking. My district sits closest to the busiest airport in the world, and there's a recipe right there. So I joined forces with her, and we came up with a PSA that's going to be played in the airport. And yesterday morning, if some of you missed me in the chambers, we were at the airport for the official unveiling. And so if we can play the video now so you all can see it.
Welcome to Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. No matter what brings you to our great city, you have an important part to play in keeping our youth safe. Human trafficking is a horrible crime involving the illegal trade of people for exploitation or commercial gain. Traffickers use violence, threats, lies, or other forms of control to manipulate their victims and coerce them into acts against their will. Unfortunately, trafficking hides in plain sight, especially in places where people gather, like airports.
In Georgia, we are united in the fight to eradicate human trafficking.
We've worked hard to create a safe haven for survivors and a hostile environment for buyers and traffickers.
State, local, and federal agencies have made great strides in the fight, and you too can play a part in keeping our children and vulnerable adults safe.
Please be on the lookout for suspicious activity and know that if you see something, it's okay to say something to authorities.
Some of the telltale signs of human trafficking to watch for are poor physical health, lack of control, and more. Poor physical health can manifest as signs of poor hygiene, malnourishment, or signs of physical abuse.
Lack of control includes having few personal possessions, wearing the same clothes regardless of circumstances, and not being allowed to speak for oneself. Other signs to watch for include avoiding eye contact and hesitating to talk to strangers, and an inability to clarify where they are staying, or tattoos branding them as a member of sex trafficking.
It is up to us to combat these evils and keep our children and vulnerable adults safe. If you think you have witnessed a traffic situation, keep careful track of your observation to report. If the victim is in immediate danger, call 911. Otherwise, you can call 1-866-END-HTGA, where trained law enforcement agents and advocates and first responders are available 24/7. That number again is 1-866-363-4842. Together, by knowing the signs of trafficking and who to contact, we can help end trafficking in the Peach State and beyond.
And I just want to invite each and every one of you to get in the fight. This is horrendous action against our children, young people, and some adults. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Bazemore. We certainly saved the most informative information to last, and thank you for your work. We do appreciate that. That completes our afternoon orders. The clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Honoring the life and memory of Officer Scott Reiner. Recognizing and commending Rashad Bateman. Recognizing February 21st, 2023 is Dyslexia Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing January 24th, 2023 is Addiction Recovery Awareness Day. Recognizing February 7th, 2023 is Skin Cancer Awareness Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing February 7th through 14th, 2023 is Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week at the State Capitol. Recognizing February 2023 is American Heart Month in Macon-Bibb County. Recognizing, commending Netting Jackson. Recognizing the risk of cardiovascular disease as the world's leading cause of preventable death. Recognizing February 8th, 2023 is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day at the Capitol and commending law enforcement officers in Georgia. Recognizing May 18th, 2023 is the Georgia World Organization of China Painters Day. And for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Is there any objection to adopting the privileged resolutions? Chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. We'll now move on to announcements, but first I'll tell you, members, thank you for your attention to the members that came to the well on some important issues to them personally and to this state and to this House. So thank you for your attention. Let's continue that a little bit longer. We have a whole bunch of announcements. Great time. We have a few announcements we need to hear, so we'll start with Chairman Corbett, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Rural Caucus will be having lunch over at the Ag Building at 12 o'clock. All members come have lunch with us, and all members that want to be members of the Rural Caucus come join us. Great lunch today provided by the University of Georgia Agriculture Department and Environmental Sciences. Thank you all.
As they say, be there, be square. So go join the Rural Caucus. Chair recognizes Representative Doreen Carter for an announcement. Representative Buck, oh, there she is. Representative Carter.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tomorrow is the day. We gave you enough time. You have your red outfits ready. Tomorrow is Go Red for Women here at the State Capitol. So please, please, please wear red. And if you would, meet us on the South Step at 9:30 a.m. in the morning. We're going to take pictures in all of our red. And in room 216, the American Heart Association will have professionals there. They're going to do blood pressure checks, and CPR demos. And please be there. Let people know they're going to be at 216 from 9:30 to 11:30. Wear your red tomorrow. And thank you for your attention. I yield the will. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Carter. I'm a day ahead. I had my red tie. I'm gonna borrow Representative Ridley's tie tomorrow so I can wear it. Don't you leave here. Yeah, we'll swap. Chair recognizes Chairman Williams for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to remind colleagues on Banks and Banking today, 5:06 at 3 o'clock in CLOB. 3 o'clock, 5:06 CLOB. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Meeks is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Budget and Fiscal Affairs will meet at 2 o'clock in room 506 in CLOB for a quick organizational meeting. Thank you.
Chairman Chokus is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Small Business Development Committee will meet immediately upon adjournment in the South Anteroom for a short organizational meeting. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman. Representative Jason Ridley is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that tonight we have Murray on the Hill, and it said it was canceled, but it's not. The great news is, since I've been here, I always hear the same comment. Ridley would really like to meet the people that sent you down here. Well, tonight's your lucky night. You're going to get to meet them and thank them. And, Mr. Speaker, hope to see y'all all there.
Where will the event be, Representative Ridley?
It'll be in the Blue Room over at the depot.
So you're going to have lounge in the...
We'll have lounge, we'll have the bird supper on the right and Murray County on the left. We don't got any birds or rugs, but we got a big hug. How about that?
Can't beat that now. Tell you what, be there or be square, right? No doubt about that. Chair recognizes Chair Lynn Smith for an announcement.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, room 606 CLOB, there will be the organizational meeting for natural resources and environment. Hope to see you then. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Smith. You do a great job. Chairman Collins, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee will meet at 1 o'clock in room 406 CLOB. We had an organizational meeting last week. We're taking up legislation starting today, so please be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a great day to be a member of the House. Nobody's older. We don't have any birthdays to celebrate today, so it's a great day. We have a great group of pages that have worked with us today and we appreciate them being here. If you'll give them a hand, and if you'll, members, if you have a page today, if you'll join us here, join us down front and we'll take a photo with those. Thank you, pages. We appreciate y'all being here. It's a good day for us, for y'all to be here. That completes our work. Mr. Majority Leader Estration is recognized for a motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Thursday, February 2nd, 2023.
On the motion of the Majority Leader that this House stands adjourned until 10 a.m. Thursday, February the 2nd, 2023, all those in favor will say aye. There's no need to vote. We got it. All those opposed will say no. It's very clear. The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you so much.